This is a story of a wee river in Donegal. You've probably never even heard of this river, but to me it's always been a very special place. It flows through the sleepy village of Ballindrait, where I grew up, and as a boy I spent half my childhood tramping its grassy banks with my dog and my rod and a big jar of worms. It also happens to be the name of the local football team, the infamous Deele Harps, of whom I was a devoted player until I discovered certain other distractions. I knew every inch of this river from miles and miles above and below the Ballindrait Bridge, and in later years I made a point of exploring all the different stretches of water that had eluded me as a boy. I've explored its leafy banks and hidden pools for almost its entire length, so for this video I thought it would be a nice idea to follow it from end to beginning and retrace some of my old fishing haunts where I spent so much of my time all those years ago. And hopefully I'll share with you some of the interesting and unexpected things that I found along the way.
Get out there, you bastard! Get on up there! There you go.
The Burn Deele's meandering pilgrimage begins at Loch Deele, high in the hills of Baraka and Drumkeen, in the shadow of Carrick Mountain. From here it flows downstream through several towns and villages until it reaches its destination, a mile or so below Lifford Bridge, where it joins the River Foyle. So we'll begin our journey in Lifford, my old stamping ground, where we'll take a wee walk downstream to where the Deele empties into the Foyle. I'm looking upstream from Lifford Bridge. To the left you can see the Mourne flowing out from Tyrone, and to the right is the River Finn, and they come together here to make the Foyle. But it's downstream we have to go, down past the Green Brae to where the Deele ends and our journey begins. That could be another Shay Given in the making. That bit of land and the river behind me there is actually an island. It starts just about a mile or two below Lifford Bridge, and the island itself is about several miles long. And the train used to cross onto the island from Donegal over to Tyrone, but the tracks are all gone now. But that island there, the river is the traditional boundary between Donegal and Tyrone. So the island's in the middle of the river, obviously, but the island belongs to Donegal because years ago I heard this story when they were deciding who was going to get the island. They had in the plan of going up to Lifford Bridge, and they tossed a barrel over Lifford Bridge, and they said if the barrel goes down the Tyrone side of the island, then Northern Ireland gets the island, or if the barrel goes down this side of the island on the Donegal side, then Donegal get to keep the island. So they went up, tossed a barrel in, and luckily the barrel came down this side, so now the island belongs to Donegal. So there you go. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a good story. I don't know where I hear these things. You can just make out that little bank in there. That's the Deele now. That's the Burn Deele coming down now to run into the Foyle just down here past these trees. That's what we've come to see. I know it's not very exciting looking now, but this is only the start of the journey. But we'll go down here, we'll go down to these trees to the actual point where it runs into the Foyle. That is the foil. We're just coming right up to the point now where they meet. It's a lovely day. It's actually really nice down here. I forgot how nice it was. And here is what is locally known as the point. This is the spot, the mouth of the Burn Deele. We used to come down here to fish. We used to think, oh, this would be a great spot where the two rivers meet. But I don't remember catching very much here. But you know, you couldn't help feeling lucky because there's so much water. But so there you are. And there's the Deele. A wee trout. I don't believe it, hey. I don't fucking believe it.
Highland, Paddy.
Martin Crawford. Of all of, I was just thinking about you, hey. I was just fucking, I was, because not Rossgier Bridge and then the railway bridge is the next stop.
That's where I came down there now.
Fucking hell, are you going for a cast?
Casting it up.
Oh sure, why not?
So, just a wee thing.
Special guest appearance,
Yo.
Martin Crawford. Oh, it's a lovely day down here. It's fucking class, and the sun was out.
Hey, how long are you down? Did you just park down at the Rowan?
I was just on my way back up there.
No, I'd seen somebody. I thought it was the bailiffs or something.
Where are you heading?
I went down to the point just.
I'm on. Let's go.
And I'm walking up. I thought I seen a wee dog with you or something there. I seen something moving. Hey.
Well, Marty, we need to fish for the video.
Coming soon, sir.
I hope so.
You come on. Comes fancy.
He's fucking fond of the baby, that boy. Right, Marty, I'm away on. Hey.
Where they see you, I'll be away 2 seconds now and I'll land under one.
Ah,
But I don't care. I'm going to keep walking.
there's no fish.
Faster.
Right, sir, I'll see you when I see you, Marty.
All the best.
And hope you catch a nice bite. Go on.
I'm just going to walk into the distance here now.
Just you walk off dramatically into the distance. I'll add music to it so it looks all like cool. Goodbye! That's a happy man there. Well, Marty, till the next time. This is Rossgier Bridge, about a mile or so outside Lifford on the road to Letterkenny. It's the first bridge on the Deele, and it's a fairly modern design compared with the rest of them. Its construction in the late 60s and early 70s left an odd little quirk in the religious affairs of the community, which is still felt today. The main Sunday Mass at the local chapel at Murlough starts at 11:15 AM. Now you might ask yourself why the most important Mass of the week begins at such an odd time. Why not 11 AM or even half 11 AM? Well, it all goes back to this bridge. When they built this bridge, they also had to divert the river because it ran too close to Murlough School. And so while all this was going on, the traffic had to be diverted around by Cavanagh and Ballindrait. So Sunday Mass was changed from 11 AM to 11:15 AM to allow the Derry to Lifford bus to make the detour. And well, I suppose they just forgot to change the time back again when the bridge was finished. It must have took them a long time to build that bridge for the priest to forget a thing like that. And so that is why Sunday Mass at Murlough Chapel is at the strange time of 11:15 AM. Just in case anyone asks you. We're just a few miles down now from where we started off at the point. I would say it's probably around 3 or 4 miles upstream now, 3 or 4 miles upstream on the Deele. And behind me here is the remains of an old railway bridge. Now, there used to be one of these on the far side of the river, and there was one in the middle of the river as well, but they've since been dug up, but I don't know why. And this is the only bit of the old railway that's left. Look, you can see the remains of the old pillar, the footprint. That's where it used to rise up, and it used to come up. It was about 30 feet high, but that was always there when we were kids. But it's gone now. And see them little birds that are flying about that just flew out of the banking in there. They're probably sand martins. They dig wee holes in bankings, make their nest. See, another one. And if you look up there, that's the remains of an old windmill. The blades are all gone. Hey, we have it all down here in Ballindrait. Railway bridges, windmills, you name it. We'll head on now to Ballindrait. That's the next bridge. Bridge number 2. This is the legendary Ballindrait Bridge in my home village where I grew up. There wasn't much to do around here back then, and since we were too young to drink in the horseshoe inn, we spent an awful lot of time around this stretch of the river. And many's a fine trout we got here too. The tide stretches for about another mile above this bridge before sliding back out to sea, and it used to bring up huge shoals of fat silver roach that would take them a good 5 or 10 minutes to pass. Often we stood on the bridge and watched them as they went, their bright silver scales glinting and flashing in the water below. The Deele used to get a run of salmon and white trout at the end of the season, maybe it still does, usually accompanied by a flash flood, but they never hung around for very long, making them particularly hard to catch. We were often told that this was one of the oldest bridges in Ireland, which isn't hard to believe when you look at it, but according to my research it was built sometime in the early 1700s. St. Patrick is said to have passed this way, and apparently he had a slight misunderstanding with the locals, and so he put a curse on the place, saying it would never become a town. Well, whatever happened couldn't have been that bad. I mean, there's worse curses than a lack of urban sprawl. More like a blessing, if you ask me. There's a wee plaque here to commemorate the flight of the Earls. Rory O'Donnell, Chief of Tyrconnell, and the O'Neill, the Earl of Tyrone, met at this bridge on their way to Rathmullen during the flight of the Earls. The bridge, being at the centre of the village, was a focal point for the community, and when I was young, every evening we would all meet up here, rain, hail or shine, to chat and gossip and put the world to rights. Sadly, the days of people gathering outside in the evenings to chat and gossip are a thing of the past. But I'm pretty sure some fella wrote a historically accurate song about this bridge, just so people wouldn't forget.
Watching the tide rise and fall, a mischief and crack just to take up the slack. There was always something at stake. We were always involved. Sure, the guards often called to the bridge at Ballindrait.
Don't ask, just don't even ask. I'm standing at a place now called Argory Bridge. This is the third bridge now on the Deele. As you can see, we're a good bit up in the river now, and the further you go up, the nicer it gets. As you can see, there's a very, very slight change in the river now. It gets away from them kind of boring bankings where there's no trees. The river starts to get a little bit faster now, a little bit more rapid and rocky, and there's little big rocks in the river and pools and all kinds of wee interesting nooks and crannies. And of course you can see, well, on that side there's trees start to line the banking, which just gives it so much more character and makes it so much more interesting, and it's obviously better for wildlife as well. But this place is also known as Sandy Mills. So presumably there was a mill around here at one stage, although I don't know, not in my time. There's some ruins of an old building just right next to the river there, but they're covered in ivy and they've been done up into old shades, so the mill might have been right there beside it, but if there was a mill, it was a long time ago. But there's a really, really old graveyard just over here, like really old spooky graves, so we'll go and have a wee look at that. Please don't kill me. I only want to look at the graveyard. I don't want to go into it permanently. Look at the ship. What's that thing there? Look. Look at them there, look. Wee headstone. Whatever we want. Just wee rocks sticking out of the ground. Oh, look at the badger. Right. I'd say that'd be a good place. If you wanted to film badgers, that'd be a good place to start. Wait for them to come out at night. Another old headstone. Oh, might be able to read this one here now. Erected in 1813 by William Wilkie Snodgrass in memory of John Wilkie, Kirkstown, who died the 9th, 1892, 85 years. Well, hello Mountain Rescue, where are you this time? I'm in some old graveyard, I don't know where it is, help me. Andrew Lowry. Died 11th April 1895. There's a few people in there. Oh, look at that, look at the style of that. Right? The style of it's class. Eh? Love him, Alexander Liston, 10th of December. No. Who died December 18th, 1878. Only had 9 months. And then the daughter, another one tacked on at the end there, 1953. Tell you, I wouldn't want to be in here at night. A different story. Another wee headstone. Just a wee rock. You can't even read. Whatever was written on it is all worn away. Right,
will all be worn away eventually. Well, I know this is supposed to be about rivers and all, about the Burn Deele, but I'm in the middle of a graveyard. But I did say I would show you all the wee things that are on next to the river. Oh, look, there's another one. There's writing on this one. Let me see this. William McGinn, 1822. Dear God. Right. Time to go, I think. It's a lovely day out there. A lovely day to be alive. Look at these. They're all the way stone mad now, look. Lunatics. That's a real old graveyard there, I think. It's more or less abandoned. Well, it is abandoned. And there is the Deele River right next to it. The Burn Deele. I used to walk up here from Ballindrait. To walk up with a rod and fish it all the way down. And that there is a lovely view of Carnone Hill, just through the trees. This is Carnone Bridge, the next bridge on the Deele. It's probably one of the narrowest and windiest wee bridges in the whole river, just a stone's throw from the Carnone crossroads, which we'll have a look at in a wee minute. This bridge is in the middle of a maze of leafy wee back roads between Ballindrait, Rafaux, Convoy, Lusculi and Castlefin. It's the kind of place a man would get lost very handy if he didn't know where he was going. This is probably one of my most favourite bridges on the whole river. We used to cycle up here from Ballindrait when we were kids, and it was a good 4 or 5 mile cycle, but it was always a real adventure coming up here, and the fishing was always pretty good as well. But the nature of the river changed so much from Ballindrait because it started getting all fast, and there's all these wee pools, and as you can see there was lovely tree line banking all the way, so for wildlife and stuff like that it was just a really nice place to come. And of course, just up here, there was the old Flax mill, so that was always good for exploring as well. But this is a lovely part of the river up here, and if you live around here, or you know, it's get out anywhere here and walk up or down the river, and you'll see a lovely sights, lovely things to look at. Really nice place, so definitely check it out. This is Carnone Crossroads. Just a short walk from the bridge. It's almost like a wee micro village out here on its own. What with the church, the old schoolhouse and Pearson's shop, all huddled together around this quiet country crossroads. And you don't see too many wee shops like this anymore, and it's still kept going by the owner, Margaret Pearson. Shall we get and say hello?
Oh, I know that. I know there's no wee shops anymore. You can't compete with the
Aldi and the Lidl and all that.
That's right.
No. When I was a young fella, there was a wee shop like this nearly on every back road.
Oh, of course there were. Denties, they come from our then, and maybe they're not living there. That's good.
How much?
That's €2 for them.
I could look some of this cheese.
Yes, I don't mind.
Thanks very much.
That's lovely, thank you.
Thanks very much for letting me come in and film. What's your name?
Margaret Pearson.
Margaret Pearson.
But I was from Little McWard. You wouldn't know it.
Let you?
Aye.
Oh, Christian, that's only up the road from Glenties.
I know that, that's why I asked you which road.
Ah, right. My neighbour.
But when you come over yet.
There's better land down here.
Well, maybe,
The
but
Litcher.
we have nothing more to do. We have nothing to do with land. We only have this. We don't own any land.
Litcher's all rocks and
Oh, I know that.
and sheep and. Aye, there's the odd sheep about here too. Not so many rocks though. This is the old flax mill at Carnone Bridge, or what's left of it. In bygone days, flax was big business in Ireland, especially in Ulster. The flax flower is actually the national flower of Northern Ireland. The last time I visited these ruins, the water wheel still had all its wooden paddles in place. It was pretty much completely intact, and it really was something else to see.
Something tells me there's a jackdaw nest very nearby. They are not too impressed with me being in here. This was the old mechanism that turned the big wheel that grinded the stuff, whatever it was grinding. Flax, I don't know how these things work, but I mean, this big shaft here is attached to the wheel outside. So this was the main part. There's the big wheel out there. What about cog? I just climbed out this window out of the old mill here, and I've come on this old piece of machinery. I don't know what it is. Walter A. Wood, Hosick Falls, New York, USA. 2105. I wonder, was that to do with the mill, or I wonder is it just an old piece of farm machinery that's lying nearby? I do not know. Look. Oh, it is a piece of farm machinery. I don't know what it is, but I know it's supposed to fit on the back of a tractor. That's all I can tell you. Fucking hell. Or maybe not, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to pretend. I'll tell you one thing, it was made in Hosick Falls, USA. And I would say that was probably an old storehouse that was connected to this mill here. The one thing that I can't find that used to be here is the mill race, where they dug the little channel. You could see where they dug the channel from the river to divert the river into the wheel and back out to the river again. You used to be able to see that plain as day, but a lot's changed since I've been up here. The whole landscape, I think it might have been filled in. I'm not sure, but maybe this wee depression might be it here. I think what I'm walking in now, this little hollow in here, I think this was the old mill race that diverted the water from the river to the mill wheel. Let's take a wee walk down to the river. After all, that's what we're here to see.
This is the next bridge in the Deele, and I'm sorry to say I do not know what name is on it. It's just a short drive from Carnone Bridge and about a mile outside Convoy, deep in that lush wee maze of back roads I mentioned earlier. According to the map, it's in the townland of Maharahi, so we'll call it that. You take what you can get in my videos. You see, that last bridge at Carnone was basically as far as we travelled when we were kids. I actually didn't even know this bridge existed until I had a car and could go exploring a bit further afield. But I've walked this stretch of the river all the way up to Convoy, and a very nice stretch it is too. That wee bird there I'm doing a bad job of filming is called a dipper. Being semi-aquatic, the dipper always lives near water, and he spends his time walking about on the river bed underneath the water holding his breath, looking under rocks for wee bugs and things to eat. He's easy to recognise by his big white bib on his breast and the fact that he dips up and down all the time, which is probably where he got his name.
You never see them signs anymore with it. That's an old sign there because the letters are raised up. All the signs now are just flat. That's collectible there, you know. I'm just standing here on the banks of the Deele. I'm just about a quarter of a mile below that bridge we were just at, and just behind the camera up there is the remains of an abandoned old spooky two-storey house, and so we'll have to go up and have a look at that. I've been to this house loads of times before and photographed it, but I'm still sure there'll be some interesting things in there to find. That's a spooky one there, man. Look at that for a shovel. Hey? Man expecting snow. Look at that for wallpaper. The old fire. The old globe lamp. Looks like a wee pantry there. Nice crowbar. That's a child's pencil case there. Remember them old pencil cases? and drying cloths. That's a fine crowbar there, right? I need a crowbar. Crowbar is a very handy thing. The wee wonders. On a wee wooden table. A wee low wooden table. It's like it's for a wee dwarf. Now, this to give us an idea of when the house was inhabited. 2001. There we are. In all probability, there was someone living here in 2001. Jeez, it doesn't take long for things to go south. Michael Jordan is contemplating yet another comeback. While an increasingly verbose Roy Keane is speaking Alex Ferguson's language. Oh my lord. We're putting it on at the ritzy new look Richmond Centre. Alright. Where's the Richmond Centre again? It's Derry? I don't fucking know. Oh Jesus. Shut up. Stop your screeching. Yes, can I help you? What's that, a starling? I think that's a starling. Must have a nest up here. Right, I'm not gonna nearly walk about because I like using my legs and I like being able to. I like not being in hospital. I like it when I'm not in hospital. So I'm just gonna go down here again. I've always liked this house. I've always liked the idea of having a river at the bottom of your garden. And I've especially always liked the idea of having a toilet up a tree. That's always appealed to me. Perhaps one day I will have my own toilet up a tree. But anyway, let's get back to the river. A slight detour here. Look at them crops growing. Look at that good land. See them wee sticks there? That's what fishermen lay their rods in them while they're waiting for the fish to bite. So must be fairly popular with fishermen up here. I've seen another couple of them further down. That's a telltale sign. You can see the way the grass is all tramped down as well. That's a regular fishing spot for some man. And we're not too far from the Beltney Stone Circle is just up around there somewhere. Something them hills up there. Somewhere around there. We're not far away from it here at this bridge. And there's the sun coming out again. Great. That's lovely there. You got the river, you got all them big lovely trees. You got your bluebells, the white thorn. Look at that. Tell you how, you don't know, it's a lovely place we live in. You don't realise it. Sitting and looking at a fucking TV all day. Get out and wander about. Going? I don't really know. Oh, this is beautiful. What a beautiful place. All the bluebells, all the trees, the lovely rushing water, the birds all singing. Lovely. We're not too far from Convoy now, so I'll jump in the car and head up there next.